welcome to Wait, Let's Talk It Out with my beautiful self, Lady George, and my amazing co-host,
Tommy Baby Cakes.
So we're here with two amazing, beautiful,
lovely
lady and gentleman.
guest.
So we have two guests today, and we're talking about dating.
Modern day dating.
Yeah.
Modern day
in
dating.
our
Very
society.
specific.
And
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to hear all the amazing things they have to say. So we have
L.
and Rhoda. So would you like to introduce yourselves a bit?
Yes, Rhoda.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. So such a gentleman.
Gentleman.
We'll get to find out.
Yes, so my name is Rhoda.
Yes.
I am a business person, entrepreneur. I also run a non-profit, and I also am a creative. So I have a PR agency. I also influence for brands, lifestyle and skincare brands.
Come on.
So that's just basically
Love it.
in summary.
Yeah.
That's,
Lifestyle. I like
That's
that.
me.
I love it.
Nice,
Thank
nice.
Thank you for
you.
being here.
Yeah.
Excited to have you.
Thanks for having
L,
me.
give us just a small,
Okay. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm the founder of L's Kitchen.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of creativity as well. I'm a huge fan of the arts, and I dabble into those every now and then.
Okay.
Generally, I'm a businessman.
Juniorly.
So are you a good cook?
L's Kitchen. Yes, we love it.
So he said he's
Okay.
a serial entrepreneur. So we hope he's not a serial dater.
Data.
But we'll get to
But we get to find out.
So yeah. Okay. So how's everyone doing? How was your week?
How's your week?
Good. Stressful too, Work.
Work.
Stressful work, meetings, and then I just started like culinary school.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Nice.
Very interesting. Very for
Different,
someone that knows
but
how
you
to
love
cook,
it.
but
Yeah.
but I love it. So
Yeah.
culinary school focus on African food.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
okay.
So because I love food so much, but I want to learn so much about African food.
Food, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. Class is very tedious, standing for like 5 hours. Well, yeah,
But you
I'm
love it.
excited. Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Nothing much really, just handing Ramadan orders this
Ramadan
period.
orders, yeah.
So that's mostly it. I mean, it's been stressful because you're hungry and
You're also
you're making
part of
food.
the-
I know,
You're also
right?
part
I
of
know.
the-
It's very tricky, but we thank
But
God
discipline.
for
It's teaching you
comes
discipline
in.
a lot
Yes.
as well, I'm sure.
So it's been good. It's been good. Everything's been going great.
That's nice. We're happy to have you guys on set
Thank
Yeah.
you.
and to discuss our modern day dating. We love it. Are you ready?
We are.
Okay, so
let's-
let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start with us because we've been out of the thing for a long time.
Yeah, I think
How
I've been
long
out
have
of
you been
the
out of
maybe
the
9
scene?
years now.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably the same.
Really?
Yeah,
Married
out of the
7
scene.
years this year,
Yeah.
and then dating.
Dating
Yeah.
10 years, married 5 years for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
So we've been out for a long time. And even before we were out, how would you say your dating life was?
Well, I've always been I align my values before
Okay.
I date. I don't just date. I always date with the intention
Of
of
marriage?
what if we settle down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't just
See how it's going.
well,
Yeah.
well, but yeah, you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I met my husband. I had just come out of a serious committed relationship that was
Yeah.
heading towards marriage. And then when I met my husband, I was looking for marriage, to be honest. I was just, okay, we met, we started talking, and we had the whole intertribal thing. And yeah, and it just happened.
Yeah, for me, I think for me it's the same. I've always been someone who is like in a long relationship. I've never just dated for dating's sake.
Yeah.
My shortest relationship probably 2 years. So it's
Yeah,
always
same.
been a long relationship. So for me, it was the same. I got my husband now, then boyfriend. It was just, let's see how it goes. I wasn't really looking. I just come out from a long relationship.
Same.
And yeah, but it led to one thing led to another, and we're here.
Yeah, and he said, I can't let you go, so you
can't
have
let me
to,
go.
you have to marry me.
We're married.
Yeah,
Aw.
so now
Yeah, so we're
now.
here.
God, well.
Let's start with you. How's your dating
Okay.
experience been?
So I'm no different from you guys. I've always been a lover boy.
Lover boy.
Really?
I'm almost never in a relationship. Like,
Almost
Almost
never.
never.
almost never in a relationship.
Almost never.
No,
Explain
he
that
said
to us.
almost never.
Yeah, in a relationship, because I come out of one, I lick my wounds, it's on to the next one. 'Cause,
Really?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a lover boy.
You're a lover boy.
I like
Yeah.
the idea
But
of
do you take
romance
breaks
and
in
everything.
your-
Yeah, I do.
you take
I
breaks,
do. I
yeah.
always do.
For your mental health.
Yes, for my mental health, and make sure I'm not carrying any baggage
baggage.
from
To the next
person to the
person.
How
next
do you heal
person.
so fast?
Exactly.
So
Or do you
I
expect
would-
it not to work?
I would no. I don't. I go
Don't
all
go
in.
into it.
I go all in.
Yeah.
And most times, even my friends accuse me of not having sense. You know, being a businessman, being somebody that they respect in that regard, who always has solutions to almost everybody's problems.
Yeah.
When I'm in relationships, I'm absorbed by my partners.
Every lover boy.
And I have this theory that has been brought to question recently, but I still have faith that it's all about dedication. You dedicate yourself to this one person. So every single day you have to choose them, regardless of what's going on.
on around you?
So
Yeah.
I've done that over and over again. And when it doesn't work out, I mean, it means I would have given my best. You know, I lick my wounds. It takes me a while, but I don't
Takes
shy
you a
away
while.
from my pain.
Yeah.
So
I
it
like
makes
that.
it easier for me to move
To
on.
move
People
on
think I move on too fast, but what else can you do after you absorbed all the pain?
To be
You
honest.
felt it, you've acknowledged it, you've acknowledged your roles in them and what you could have done better. And then,
Yeah.
So, but do you
Move on.
think that, for me, I used to think that I probably detach a lot when I see that it's about to get
yeah.
about to get crazy.
Yeah.
I just start pulling back. So do you think maybe that's like your situation?
Okay, so for me,
Like you foresee the end, so
yeah,
you just
even when you would always see it, you would
You
always
see
pick up
signs,
signs, you
yeah.
always, but I still try. That's the difference. I communicate, I try to, get the other person to tell me what's going on. And usually these things are not easy. So they'll usually tell you, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, things of the heart are
things will
never
get
easy.
better, we'll work through it and all of that. And
Yeah.
that's it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, values are very, very key. And that is where mine continues to differ from a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Right.
When we first start, it's always like, oh, yeah, but I believe change is constant, but there are
Definitely.
certain things that remain our foundation, what we build on, what we expect, and all of that. So there's always that,
Yeah. That's
So and once that
finding
happens,
balance.
it just starts to. And I mean, it's boyfriend, girlfriend, but marriage is a whole
It's a whole
different
different
ballgame.
ballgame
So you
entirely.
have to just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So Rhoda, your experiences so far with dating?
I was never lucky. I was never lucky with, honestly, I just dated goats, man.
Really good.
Wow.
I call bad men goats.
Okay, fair
Because
enough.
goats are like my worst animal. I feel like they're the most
Really?
stubborn. There's something
But do you
about
like
goats.
fried goats, grilled goats?
Of course, I like goats,
Uh-huh.
but like I mean, like the
These are
animal
the issues.
itself. I
These
know.
are the
What,
issues.
and then, like when it comes to animals itself, goats are just like so stubborn. So I'm stop doing this. They go back there. So I just call men goats, and I never had like any good experience with dating. My current relationship is good, but like previously, I've never had any good experience with dating. I was never a long time dater. I think like I'm currently in my longest relationship.
Really?
I think my last relationship before my current relationship was like about like 5 years ago. But like going
How
on,
long was that for?
that was for I think like a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half. But I was never, honestly, like I don't know what happened, but I was never lucky. I was never lucky, and but I'm just thankful to God now that I'm lucky. But those guys they dealt with me.
Dealt with you.
So
Dealt with
like
me.
talking about that now, do you think coming from there and being where you are now, do you think you also had to work on yourself?
I was not the problem.
I love honesty.
I was not the problem, honestly, because the reason why I would say I was not the problem because these guys did things. Okay, so I can remember 2 of the guys that I dated. One got another girl pregnant.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Another one was a bona fide liar, just
Oh,
a
God.
big liar, lies about
You
everything.
said it
To
really.
be
And
fair,
I've told you guys
well,
about this gist before.
if you did anything wrong, the person
Those-
that got somebody,
yes.
yeah, it's
There's
cancelled.
no
Scarcity.
yeah.
That's why I said I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. So one of the guys got a girl pregnant, and then the other one was just a liar, and I caught him red-handed.
Because it's one thing to
Lying.
cheat and one thing to not impregnate.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is
That's
that
two different
he
things.
told me that he cheated on this girl before. I cheated on me with this girl,
girl
and I was like,
before.
okay, fine, like, okay, no problem. Let me
It's
see,
happened.
And then
Goes
he
out.
now, a few months down the line, told me that, oh, Rhoda, that girl is pregnant. I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
So was it a situation of, okay, he cheated and then, because I've been in a situation where the person actually kept the pregnancy. This guy did everything. I said, okay, I'm not ready. Let's take it out.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. But she didn't. And then when she was about 8 months pregnant, she shows up again and says, okay, it's time to have this baby. When
No, I felt like he never just left her.
Right.
Now, if Mumu would have stayed, I should have left immediately.
You still stayed?
And confessed. That's why I'm a big cheating is a deal breaker to me
yeah.
now,
Yes,
because
yes,
I forgave then,
And you know what you went through.
everybody started saying, "Oh, look at you, Mumu. Why did you forgive him? You were too soft, blah blah blah. If you had left, maybe you would have stopped." But I forgave him, and then now I'm just like, you know what, cheating is a deal breaker. I shouldn't have cheating
I
is a deal
agree,
breaker.
because I feel cheating is like,
Forgiving cheating is like
yeah, or no, just cheating.
Cheating in
Like
general.
cheating is a deal breaker. It takes, that means the person is a liar. The person doesn't value me, no trust, like a lot of things. So how do you start to rebuild?
Well,
cheating is all of that.
yeah, it's not all of it, to be honest.
Have you cheated before?
Yes, I have actually.
Let me
Okay,
shift.
so that's why I said not all of that.
So
it doesn't contaminate
there's no, there's this was I
A long
would say
time
the
ago.
old way.
They always say that.
No. I say that because it is the old
It is
way.
you, yeah.
Because I'll meet you today, tomorrow you're definitely not the same person. So,
Definitely.
and I would say there's this misconception that men should not cheat on good women, and this definition of good women usually falls under the women not cheating as well.
Okay.
And you may not cheat, but that does not necessarily
Yeah,
make
Yeah,
you
good
a
woman.
You understand? So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
making
get
excuses for
So, but
cheating,
what?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's this saying that they say women only cheat emotionally, or once women cheat,
She's emotionally
it's an
Emotionally
emotional
it's
thing.
gone, yeah.
It could be the same thing for men as well.
I don't yeah.
Yeah, because
That was
if you're
driving
going
out.
to cheat on your man, it's because your emotional needs are not being met to a certain extent, and somebody else is ticking all the boxes and all of that. So that was the same case for me.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were
But
cheating emotionally.
I'm not blaming why.
Why you-
Yeah,
you're not
but
saying
I'm not
you're
even making
excusing the
excuses.
fact,
But
yeah.
it's just that when you're in a relationship, that's where honesty with yourself comes first.
To be honest.
Forget any other person. If you're lying to yourself, your life is finished. You're done. So you can lie to the whole world, but
You
you
can't lie
must.
to yourself,
Yes. So it was one of those things where we had stayed long enough instead of me to just say, you know what,
Let's call
I've
it quits.
tried, I've done this, I've done that. Let's just call it quits. I didn't want to hurt the person, and at the end of the day, what did
That's
I
what
end up doing?
Still
Yeah,
worse.
You still
Yeah.
have, you still
Because
have.
if you had actually let her go,
Exactly.
without
If
cheating,
that pain
it
would
would have
have
been better.
been more, you know.
Yeah.
But then living under the
That's
guise of
scar.
cheating and all, so
Okay, so we've spoken about experiences so far, but we want to go into like some of the things, some of the ways people date now, and some of the things that we see in
Okay.
dating now. So we'll start with online dating. How do you guys feel like with online dating and dating digitally? Like what's happening
Online
now?
dating. Okay, who's going first?
please. go.
Okay, so honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it because I have seen a lot of friends that have met their husband, their husbands from Tinder or like Hinge.
Oh, really?
I have a couple of friends that they can't seem to find any reasonable man in physical world.
Physical world.
So they go online and they
yeah.
found a couple of people. So I don't have a problem with it. And then you hear girls saying, "Oh, this guy just he came to my DM," or I
Sent to my DM.
responded to
Yeah,
someone on
Instagram,
Twitter.
Twitter.
One of my closest friend met her husband on Twitter. The guy just and they've been married for years now. So I feel like online dating, I will not it's not a
Shut
bad thing
it
at
down.
all. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a really good avenue to find someone. I honestly think that people should explore
Explore
it.
it more.
But again, explore it with sense.
There's always
You have to be
There's always a
careful.
big disadvantage. You have to be very careful, especially with the whole dating app. If it's like Twitter, Instagram, okay, that one is fine.
Yes,
but
yes.
with
Dating
dating
apps,
app,
you
that
have
one is
to be
even
It's more,
very-
it's
that's
scarier.
Tricky.
Very
I
tricky.
think okay. So before I started dating my current boyfriend now, a few years, no, maybe like 5 years ago or so, I downloaded Tinder.
Okay.
And then I remember that I did that because like my cousins were around and then they were like, oh, we were talking about it, so I downloaded it. And then some of the guys were like, this was like hook up. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, who are all these people? I just deleted the app
That's the
immediately. I was like,
impression I have.
I was like, this is not,
Especially
this
with
is
Tinder,
this is-
all these
Bumble.
other apps.
I was like, what
And-
kind of app is this? And I just
Yeah.
deleted it. But again, I found people that said they swiped on their husband.
And they've
Yeah.
And they're
on
married
Tinder,
now.
yeah.
So again, I feel like just try your luck,
Just be
man.
careful and just be
But
careful.
just be careful. Just be careful.
Same
I don't have
with
a
you,
problem
right?
with it.
I think the same thing.
Same,
I've
to be
never
honest.
been on Tinder or any of those.
But have you found
other
anybody
apps.
from Instagram?
Of course. Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, the other ones.
Yeah,
those are the regular ones.
Yeah, those are the regular spaces. And I don't knock it, to be honest, because it also gives you an insight to these people personally. That's why I prefer the socials to the Tinder and the likes.
I prefer
On the
the
socials, you can literally see their day-to-day and then some other personalities that
things
you
you
know, a
can
few
pick
things
up.
that you can pick up on.
Say, okay, this person, this
Yeah.
But people still curate those things, you know.
Yeah, there's still
it's a bit
still.
better.
But they'll put
Yeah,
a
it's
bit
better.
of their personal.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's way better
Okay,
than
I mean,
understand
you
that.
have enough information to, protect yourself with.
Okay.
If I'm to say that, to protect yourself
Of course,
with.
definitely.
In terms, you may know somebody that follows them, and you can ask questions.
True,
So, do you know this person? Are they
Mm,
married?
exactly,
Are
that's
they
very
into-
Yeah, they
important.
married.
Yeah.
That one
Very
is
And
very
then
important.
important.
she used to, or he used to date
He
this
used to date this
person,
person,
and they did this, that, that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
But
You
try
can
it
actually
out.
track. Is it more
Something.
tracking?
Yes,
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
tracking
There's
system.
receipts.
Yes, there's receipts.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so talking about like Tinder and all, and you mentioned something about like hooking up and all that. So I have a lot of single friends now, and they still tell me, Harika, it's tough out there because
tough.
most guys just want
It's
to
a
hook
hook
up.
up.
Even the girls now be like, I beg, I don't
have
want to
time.
marry. I want to let's just have fun. So like,
Hookup
what's
culture.
your view on like the hookup culture in our society and like your personal views as well?
And the serial dating as well, because I feel like there are a lot of serial daters that feel like it's okay to serial date because for them that's the way they can find the right one.
Yeah.
Okay, so serial dating without the hookup, I don't have a
Hookups.
problem with that.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like if you're not with anyone, you shouldn't close the door to everybody. You should be able to say, oh, this one is talking to me, this person is talking to me, that person. At a certain age, basically, though, like I feel like when you're 29, 30, you haven't met the love of your life, you should keep the door open and talk to this guy, talk to that guy. Not that you're sleeping with them, but at this point, you know what you want. If you're a 30-year-old, 29-year-old woman and you still don't know what you want, then something's wrong with you. So I feel like at that age, you know what you want. So if any guy is coming, you're checking them out. You're not necessarily sleeping with them or going to their house, washing plate, all of that.
That's where the hookup.
Yes,
culture
that's
comes
what
into
that's
it.
serial dating in that aspect.
It's
I don't
fine.
have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I feel like girls should do that. I feel like you shouldn't be tied to one guy when you're not
Even men should
dating
do that
him.
as
Yeah,
well.
men should do that
should
too.
do
Like
that as well.
see these girls, see who you like, blah blah blah. But with the hookup thing, I feel like it leads to nowhere. I don't understand why people do that thing. It's just STD and HIV for me. I feel like it leads to nowhere. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of
your
emotions.
your spirit.
Women that engage in hookups, honestly, like I feel so bad for them. I don't know why they are doing
we
it,
looking
How
for
but
about the men?
you people think it's your nature, first of all. I'm coming to you people first. You people think it's your right to
my
hook
right.
up. But again, for men, I feel like down the line, it also hurts you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like it hurts you guys because
Mentally.
you would have missed out on even a good woman because you're just flying everywhere. Pew, pew, pew. I don't understand. I really don't get it. I am not for hookup culture. I am totally against it. My friends that always say, oh, I don't need a man, and sleep around.
And even when you say
down
a
the
good
line,
woman, even when you say good woman,
Yeah.
you can't see the value because you've been
yes,
with so
you're
many
so
girls.
into hookups. You
Yeah.
can't even like date
the
a
right
woman
one.
without hookup.
I know
That
because
hookup.
some girls are, well, majority of women are emotional. So she might have that, okay, since it's just hook up he wants, let me just be there. Then maybe eventually he will
will
change.
change.
Yeah.
And
So,
then-
like, for
so
me,
you end up missing out because
I-
once you're done, you just like,
Yeah, for me, the biggest take from this whole hookup culture is waste of time. I can't imagine because by the time you look back, 2 years has passed. You've just been
Literally
hooking up
hooking
every
up,
month.
and then you look
And
back.
for a man, you're not hooking up without money. Oh. You're spending money to this woman you're going to hook up with. I read a post where a man said he's never cheating on his wife again, never, because
I think I saw
there was a
that thing.
particular
He
guy
said-
was chasing for months,
Can
and
you
then
imagine?
after sleeping with her, it was just like 2 minutes. He didn't even enjoy it. It was like, what?
Why did I even
I
do
spent
that?
all this money on this woman when I could have spent it on my wife. He was so upset with himself that he had to go all that length just to get one sex that didn't even make him happy.
Yeah.
So it was like 6 months chasing one girl just for this. So he's like, he's never doing. So he was just advising
buy
men.
bone
He was
straights, you
exactly
pay for
buy all
creamy
those
pasta.
things. The girl will not speak to you on that day.
You don't spoil my business.
So I feel like there's no point to it, honestly. I always tell people that, look, staying with one person is cheaper.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. I don't know why people do this.
Oh, you say L on that.
Okay, so for me personally, nothing is black and white
Yeah.
ever. people who are doing hookup, it's a bad thing generally. Morally, it's very bad, you know. It's very bad. But people get something from it. That is why it is so
What do they get?
so rampant.
Yeah.
Like you said, some people get bone straight, some people get bad, some people get this. Some
To
people
be
get
honest,
some
and
people
an
get
escape.
a feeling of accomplishment. Some people, men, I would say, conquering. Yeah, men. Listen.
She said
listen.
Goliath.
I'm going to tell you something, and I'll tell you why it is also a bad thing.
Honestly.
Because hookup culture, as we're talking now, it's not only done by people who are single.
That's
There are
right.
people in relationships who also hook up.
I'm married.
There are people who are from well-to-do homes
Homes,
who
yeah.
engage in hookup culture.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's not necessarily a straight to the point thing where it's something that is lacking, or actually there's a lot
There's
a lot lacking for it to be
You also
just
went
like,
to. I also want to touch upon the point of being a 29, 30-year-old person and not knowing what you want.
I mean, as a woman, not
As a woman, men.
As a
men.
I
woman.
say, we
Men,
have
age
we have
men are
40-year-olds who don't know what they want.
Of course.
We have 30-something-year-old
Yeah.
men who don't know what to want. And I'm going to go back to this. This has to do with a lot of trauma, a lot of mental health issues. You know, we don't take care of problems.
True.
For
We
men,
suppress
for-
it, we
for
put
men
it
and
down.
women.
For both men
Both.
and women, yeah. And I see it this way because depending on how a woman grows up, it shapes her life for the rest of her life, just like men too.
I agree.
And what
if
you
you
don't
don't deal
get
with
growing
it-
up as an adult, you start to look for.
Definitely.
Most of these women or most of these guys don't really want to do hookup. Now, you mentioned somebody saying, oh, okay, let me just do it and then see. Maybe he'll see that,
Yeah,
the
I'm
person
okay.
probably thinks the same way. But both of you hook up and you know the culture you're in. There's no catching feelings. So before you start to do it, both of you dip. So orientation is another problem. We keep going back and forth. I just feel like there's so many well-polished and refined BS
I get you.
being put on different platforms.
Yeah.
Different people coming together as professionals in relationships and human nature, what
Yeah.
men are supposed to be, what women are
Psychologically
supposed
and
to
all
be,
of that.
blah 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 blah. And to me, I call BS on all of it because we keep going off point with it. We're not having
We're not being
honest
real.
conversations.
Yeah.
So do
We're
you
trying
think,
to win.
Yes.
One gender
Is
is
trying to
better
win
than
the
another
Yeah.
gender.
Yeah.
And for me, I think everybody should seek therapy.
okay, that's where I was
Because
going.
every single
Yeah.
person,
Period.
a lot of people are just walking around broken.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
And then you enter these relationships to make yourself feel good. When you have someone who is self-aware, someone who is sure of themselves, who knows what they want, there's little to no change for you to expect as the relationship starts to grow because you found yourself, you're grounded in something, you have certain values
Principles, yeah.
and principles that you adhere to. And they say situations don't change people, it just reveals who they are. So for a lot of people, when something starts going good, for men, people say it's money, once they make money, their true selves. Same thing for women. When money comes and there's some sort of confidence level boost, and then they start to look like, okay, you're not on their level anymore. They need to find this, they need to find that. Dishonesty is my problem with everything. And this dishonesty goes as far, like I said, you can lie to everybody, but
You
don't
can't
lie
lie to yourself. Yeah.
So you can say you're ready for a relationship now, and you're actually not.
True.
And then you get into it, and in the middle of all of it, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And we're in a filtered generation. You
That's
see
right.
somebody online, like you said, people curate their lives
Curate
online.
their lives online.
You see, and value, people have added value to themselves based on how strong their social presence is, or social media presence is. Now, let's say for a man or a woman now, you have 10K, 20,000 followers. Anything you drop, people are liking it,
Liking
they
it
love
because
it.
you have
So this
the following.
attention high is already getting to you. Now, you meet somebody, an actual human being, who now sees you, who lives with
Knows
you,
you.
who is now learning about you. You're going to be on the defensive
Yeah.
if you're not self-aware, if you're not honest with yourself, because the
That's
persona you've put up now is being threatened.
It's breaking down.
What do you
Those
do?
walls are
You're
breaking down. Yeah.
Automatically, subconsciously, you're pulling away.
Yeah.
This person is trying to control me, you're trying to change me, you're trying to take it. You're already afraid of losing what you're used to, which is attention. All of this attention, all of these accolades, all of these people always,
And not really knowing who you really are.
They're
you
just
don't
seeing
know
what
who
you're
you are.
showing.
Now,
Show.
you also want that, but you're afraid that if this person sees you, they will not like
They
you.
will not like the real you.
You understand? So
Yeah.
that is that barrier I feel like we need to
Yeah.
get to. That's that point I think we
Yeah.
need to get to and discuss more.
Yeah.
Everything I see is always men versus women, this,
gender
that.
roles and
I'm
stuff.
better, this gender is better, and it's all lies.
Yeah.
The best gender is the one that goes through the most. And that's both gender.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's nice. So, yeah, I totally agree on therapy. I think it really, really helps people. And I feel, like you said, especially in our society, growing up, seeing dads not being available or seeing moms being thrown out of the house, being beaten, even some men being beaten by their
Exactly, by
wives
their
and all
wives.
that. So I think a lot of people, maybe 98%, actually should seek
Therapies.
therapy
It's everybody.
before
It's
before
everybody.
getting into any serious committed relationship.
On anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. When
Anything,
therapy on
actually.
anything,
Yeah.
therapy should
It's
be.
very essential.
sought
I was speaking
after.
to a friend of mine who is a therapist abroad, and she said everybody needs therapy. She said it's not okay, we're having issues in our marriage or in our relationship, or my mom is this thing out. No,
Because you see a
everybody.
difference even in your life, not only
Yes.
your relationship,
Yeah.
but even your life. What you're bringing to
Because
the
you
table.
stop getting agitated
Yeah,
over what is not and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know I know we all speak about therapy, but it's not accessible. Let's be honest.
Wait, it's not accessible where in Nigeria.
Everywhere. The reality is that it's not
not- it's
everyone
not-
that can
it's
get
expensive.
access to therapy. So what's the next best thing for people? Because again, a therapy session, give or take.
It's expensive.
I know my sister was seeing one at some point, and for 3 times in a week, we're paying like over 90 something
Yeah.
thousand.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's about
So that is how
25,000
much,
per
and it's just
session.
1 hour. It's about and that was then. No, this was like years ago. Now
Yeah,
a
it's
therapy
expensive.
session is like 50 something
50
thousand,
something
55, because now
Yeah.
there's so much money in it. They are seeing that there's a market for.
Yeah,
So
everybody's
that's-
talking about
that's
mental
where,
health.
That's
So
where
what's the second best thing?
for me personally, I used to have this meeting every Sunday called the Tribe Meeting.
Okay.
It was literally just for a group of people. People tried to bring in cameras. That's why I ended it because it was very personal. For me, it was personal. We always we just gather people Sundays. There was food. You just talk about your week.
Yeah, we have that as well.
Just
I like
do
that.
that.
Wine and
that was
dine.
that was it. So we had that going on, and as time went by, people got more vulnerable. People started to talk about personal stuff, and then you realize that we all share similar realities. Now, what we're lacking, that I feel like will definitely kill the therapy market, is community, sense of community.
Talk about that as well.
This cancel culture where somebody does you wrong and you cancel them entirely. This person leaves, and at the back of their mind, they're thinking, I thought we were friends. I thought we had a good time, all the good memories. That didn't amount to anything. I mess up this once. Am I supposed to be perfect? Am I supposed to be this?
Exactly.
Stuff like that. So I think we're missing, and I still say it today, the gender wars is killing a sense of community.
It's too much.
True.
It's too much. It's pointless. We talk about high valued men, high value, and these things come from people who hold no values.
Exactly.
Because when you talk about high values, you're talking about money.
Let's be honest.
And we all know men who have money and done their wives dirty. We know women who have money and they are unstoppable. You can't talk to them. You can't do anything. So it's not about that. It's about having a sense of community, a healthy community. Now, friendships is about, my friend's husband just cheated on her on Twitter. Your friend, why?
Like, why are you doing
Why
that?
are you bringing it
Why are
out?
you bringing that out?
Men are scum. My friends, this, just to get content.
Yeah, just to get content.
So
and
if we
views.
don't learn to keep our emotions in check because according to what I was reading a few days ago, your emotional part of the brain takes flight first before the logical part kicks in. So we just have to learn to wait. I mean, it took me a while, before I used to react to everything. And then it was just pointless.
Yeah. Let's quickly move into, I want to talk about something that I've noticed recently, and I kind of don't understand it, because some of my single friends, when they go through it, they're like, they can't understand why either the man or the woman does this, is ghosting.
Oh.
that ghosting of a problem. I don't understand what happens. Why do you people ghost?
What was it?
Rhoda, have you ghosted
Have you
before?
ghosted somebody before?
I have. I don't understand what it means. Why?
I wouldn't call mine necessarily ghosting, but
So you
when
ghosted.
no, but when my last ex did what he did and he was trying to come back, I just cut him off completely. I went
No,
ghost
that's
basically.
That's not ghosting.
ghosting.
So
That's not really
okay, that's not
ghosting.
really
That's
ghosting,
not
right?
ghosting.
Ghosting is maybe you just
talking.
you
You're
just
talking.
sent him lunch,
Yeah.
and then after that,
Because
you
he's
cannot reach
married.
you to people say
Because
thank
he's
you.
He's married. He's a married man. He's a married man. That's why
That's
he's
why
ghosted.
he's
He's a married man. That's why. For me, I
That's
feel
the
like
point I want to hear.
yes.
So you didn't know he was.
I'm sure he said maybe he thought that this woman will figure me out and just
So
say, you
quickly,
know what,
he's
let me just
ghosted.
end
I
this.
see.
Before she
Yeah,
forgets
you know,
about
I've
it.
actually
I
been
agree.
ghosted before. Thinking about it now, yes. I remember there was a relationship that I was in or I was trying to get into, but this man would say, you know, I was so young, but I didn't understand it. He said, don't call me at this time. I never knew what it was. This was
Don't mess
way
with
back.
me.
This
I'm
was,
working.
Don't
this was
message
when
me.
I
I'll
was
call
20.
you when
Yes.
it's time.
This was when I was 22. He was like, don't call me at this time.
I will call you.
I will be the one to call you. And then maybe he'll talk to me and then maybe for 3 weeks he won't talk to me.
Ghosted.
And when he's coming back to talk to me, he'll bring like chocolates and all of that. And I'm like,
So romantic.
but when I was like, first of all, you don't even have any presence on social media. I tried to Google him. I couldn't find anything.
Red
Ghost.
flag.
That's
That's
like-
that's
He said never take a
ghost.
It's a ghost.
He said never take a picture with me. You know what? I was young. I was 20. Remember, I was
Yeah,
21.
21, yeah.
I was 21. But I figured it. I was like, wait, something is going on
off
here. And then I figured that he was married. But again, he was married. Last time I saw him, I was like, you are married.
You're married.
And I was like, who told you? He was trying to be defensive, but that was the end. That was the last time I saw him.
Elle, have
So,
you
yeah.
ghosted?
Me.
It looks like a ghost.
Looks like a ghost.
Oh
Yes.
wow! Wow. Is it
Do you
because-
ghost women?
Is it because I'm black? No, I don't actually. Actually, I get ghosted.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
It's always
No,
shocking.
women ghost now.
It's always,
Women really
it's always
ghost.
shocking.
Women are very.
Because they
Um,
ghost when they find something.
Yeah, maybe they
so-
found it.
so-
This boy.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I've always had this issue where I'm judged by my appearance, judged by so many things that I did not even know of. Apparently, I have a look. I'm just figuring
Of
that out.
what?
Of
Like a bad
Of a
boy.
bad boy.
Yeah, a bad boy. And because I'm very forward and direct, like with my approach, like I'm always very. I can't say it's cringe because I like you. I'm not going to say I like you immediately, but we'll hang out a couple of times. I'll tell you, and I have this notion that no woman is talking to just one guy. You understand? So I'm putting my best foot forward. You know, so. For me, I feel like, according to my female friends, I probably come at a point where they were almost getting into something with somebody
Yeah. And
or
they were.
something, and then I just have to take, because some of them come back after a while, or I just wake up one day they're getting married.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so stuff like that. I've actually, and some do it to protect themselves because they feel like, this
We
one's
don't
going
want
to
to.
be,
Yeah, this one is going to.
it's not a
be deep.
problem. Oh.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I please,
Yeah.
I don't mind it because it helps me filter a lot of things as well.
But have you been heartbroken? Like
Oh yeah,
that
by
ghosting?
one
By
of those.
ghosting,
Oh
yeah.
yes. This is a particular one that hit me real hard because, I mean, like I said, I'm a very practical person. I just lick my wounds and like, oh yeah.
But
But
did she
this
know?
one felt so
one really,
sure,
really-
like it felt so sure, felt so right. You know, we did everything. Went out on dates, sent flowers. You
can
know,
never
I
understand
wrote
it.
poems. I did all of that. Like I said, I am
Yeah,
a
we
lover
lover
boy.
boy.
Yes, this is what I do. This is me. So having done all of that, and then she still left. You know,
Yeah.
it took like a year. She even had a kid.
Oh
You know,
wow.
and then that was when she explained to me and stuff.
Why she?
So what was her reason? She had
was,
gone far.
Yeah, she had
with-
gone
gone
far. She was
far.
even engaged, you know, at the
Oh,
time.
wow.
But they had issues. The guy was not, you know. I think couples go through that before marriage.
Oh, yeah.
There's this little rejecting vibe
Yeah,
they give each
yeah,
other. Like
yeah.
they pick fights about everything.
everything.
Because, they're just looking for a reason to not, you know.
Make it work.
Okay.
Can you marry a Christian and allow her remain a Christian?
Of course.
But she was raised your kids
I
Muslim.
come from a very
mixed
accommodating
background. Oh,
family.
right. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
My dad was a Christian before he became a Muslim.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
some of my
nice.
siblings are Christians,
Nice.
you know. And we've never had an issue, maybe because of how we grew
Oh,
up.
yeah,
because
because
I
you have
attended a
a
lot of
mixed
churches
family,
as well.
so-
My dad never had any issues with it. He felt like every Muslim should know other
Well, other
religions.
religions,
You know, so
Important.
you
The
can,
same way. Yeah.
just so you're tolerable and you can tolerate them. And whenever anybody gets out of line, you can educate without
Exactly, without
you
any
know,
form of.
any
Which
form
is
of
very
yeah.
important.
So that was always it for us. That was always it for my family.
Nice,
So that's it.
Okay.
It's never an issue for me, to be honest.
So, Rhoda, what do you think?
About
Do you
the
think
whole,
Yeah.
I feel like as
Religion,
long as
tribal.
no tribe for tribe, I don't see any sense in tribe. Honestly, my parents have always been a
Open
big
to-
advocate for marry who you want and marry who you like. Of course, they want you to marry. They would prefer you marry someone from I'm Yoruba, so they
Just
prefer
makes
if you
life
marry
easier,
someone
I
just
think.
because so they can understand
Makes
their
life
language,
easier.
exactly. But they don't mind if you marry anyone. Sure, my father used to say, oh, we'll bring Chinese home, whatever, as long as you're okay with the person. But for religion is very dicey because I feel like it depends on, again, the values of the two people and
Like she
what
said,
when you
how
start
will you
bringing
raise
values
your
kids
child?
and all,
in,
exactly,
How will you raise
and
your child
your
as?
families. I feel like your families also is also a very big factor. So for religion, I feel like that's a very tricky topic. But I'm Christian. I've always dated Christians. So my dad was Muslim, but he converted,
Christian as
and
well.
my mom was Christian. Yeah, so and they're married. So I've always seen that like before, and then
Okay.
Okay. So now, moving on, how we've spoken on like tribe and religion, another big issue that comes up is gender roles.
Like
Right.
you mentioned already.
Yeah, like
It's touched on already.
I think he's a big advocate on
Of
that
gender
because in
roles.
everything he always ends it with
Gender roles.
gender roles.
Gender
Everybody's
roles.
trying to everybody. So you feel everybody should just do your own and face your own and don't try to pull in to the other
It's
person's
hard. It's
thing.
really hard now.
how do you mean do your own and face your own?
Exactly.
How do you
Like for example, you are a woman first,
Face your own.
right? You are feminine.
Yeah.
You shouldn't now start trying to drag like
With a man.
because the man we're in a traditional African
By
setting, let's
nature.
be real. The man, as we know, even in Christianity, is the head of the home.
Head of the home.
So you start dragging being the head of a home with a man, right?
I mean, in work times, people are doing
In
that.
work time, people are doing that, and I think it's also affecting dating a lot and
lot.
marriages because you're trying to do what the man is doing. When he doesn't do it, you
start
start getting
getting
upset.
upset.
Meanwhile, you are taking it over.
in this
regard.
in this regard,
Rhoda is like, I'm coming.
first of all, I don't want to be a man.
Never
See,
have wanted to be.
I honestly don't understand women that aspire to be head of homes. I do not, like, I'm a baby girl
For life.
For life.
running different companies and running my own
Exactly.
businesses and all of
It's
that. Then
enough.
come home and
It's
come and run the
enough.
house. What happened? When God gave me man, I don't understand. Like, when women try to be men, I do not understand
Understand
it.
it.
It's understandable in the workplace because sometimes you have to have that masculine energy come out and take your place in the office, especially when you're surrounded by men
Yeah.
or when you're a CEO or you're running your own things. For me, I answer to a lot of older men and they see me as a small girl. Oh, who is this tiny girl
this
coming for a
tiny girl
meeting?
here? Yeah.
So I have to like stand up to that. Oh, sir, I know you are old enough to be my father, but I know what I'm doing. But when I'm with my man, I become a woman. I do, like, he's taking the
Felt even,
position.
I think,
Instantly. I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to see.
Be a
I
man.
don't want to be a man at all. I feel like women. I always tell people, and something that my boyfriend and I always talk about, and how this whole feminism movement and all. And I said equality that I feel like the good feminists are fighting for. Most of the equality is on equal pay.
That's what it should be.
Then that's where it should end.
Yeah.
This baba that is in this office now that only not to be my father, don't not pay him more than me when I'm the one doing all the
Same
work.
work,
That's
everyone
all I'm
work.
talking about. But I'm not equality in. I don't want to have to take on the role of a man. We can't be men. Honestly, women, we cannot be men.
Yeah.
We cannot. If we try it, we can't even handle it. Like the
can't.
financial
It's a lot.
burden, what they go through,
mental
we
strain.
cannot.
When you talk the financial aspect, a lot of women are making money now.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are, but even in yes, I'm talking about the financial burden also as well. Just being a man,
Being a
that
man
it's not.
naturally.
Yeah, see, as you come to the world as a man, there's burden already on your head.
Yeah.
I don't understand why like women will say they want to be men in that aspect, or they don't need a man. God did not make us to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone.
Honestly.
Nobody wants to be
by
alone.
nature's design alone, yeah, by nature's design alone, we're a pair.
Yes.
We're a pair. We can never change that.
I mean, two to enter Noah's Ark.
Exactly.
Two to enter Noah's
There's a
Ark.
reason why
Yeah.
they
God
were two.
created Adam.
They were two, yeah.
So
yeah.
there's that. So for me, I don't think there's a good understanding of what masculinity is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you see this toxic masculinity. It becomes there are two words that cannot go together. Being masculine is just being assertive, being protective, being everything that you would think a man needs to be.
Yeah.
And women try to define men, but you can never do that. You can't really define men. You would never know what it really means to be a man.
Yeah.
It's not your place to know.
And we don't want to know.
You don't, no.
We really
See,
don't
we
want
have,
to
no,
know.
we have a lot
speaking
of, like
for
I said, we
yourself.
have a lot of people who have, very polished platforms that promote this very
Yeah.
thing. And a lot of people
It's
buy
very
into it.
emotional,
I
yeah.
talk to people a lot. Yeah, even when I'm talking to people, or I go on dates with people to try and see this, there are certain words, phrases they start to use.
And
I
they
know
first be
that.
like,
I just leave. Like I
High value men have, like
I
you
just
rightly
clock
said.
out because you want a high value person, you have to be of high value
What are you
yourself.
bringing?
You have to meet that person at their level. Now, when you ask people what is masculinity, they did a poll on Twitter and someone said, "Oh, what's the masculine traits you have as a woman?" It all went down to manual labor, physical labor. I can put on gen, I can change the bulb, I can do this, I can do that. That is not
That is
even.
just
It's
normal
not
life
something
skills.
men do because they want you to see that they are men.
Yeah,
It's what
just
they do to
normal.
keep the place
Running.
cozy, running, and everything. That is our duty, even whether we like it or not. It's not going to
Without
happen.
a woman,
Yeah.
they will still do those things.
Do you-
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you
For
get?
themselves anyways.
So it's just one of those many things where there's a lot of growing up now. They tell you be careful with women. They tell you be careful with men. And then at the end of the day, we're supposed to grow up and meet each other.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, all your life
We've
they've been
been
telling
telling
you.
you, yeah.
every-
Careful, be
yeah,
careful.
be careful, be careful. Now, there's this thing where they say, oh, if a woman has more money than you are finished. You are this, you are that. I think that is silly, but then I've seen the reality
But
of
it's
it.
same with women too now. You
No,
say if a woman you are driving
I've
a
seen.
big car,
Yeah, no.
she
Here's
be careful of her.
Careful
She
of
will-
her.
she will
Here's what
stone
I'm
you in
saying.
the house. She will
Here's what
step
I'm
on your
saying.
head.
Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Here's what I'm saying. Yeah. Here's what I'm saying in regards to this. When we talk about independence, I was talking to you about this before we got on here. When we talk about independence, when women talk about independence, it's more like, have you ever heard a man say, I want to make money so I can be independent?
No, I feel like that's a given.
Why should a man say that?
It's a given.
It's a given.
It's a
Yeah,
given.
it's a given. So this money you're making now, this is also in preparation for you to have a family, for them to be comfortable.
That's the man, right?
So yeah, so you're already, your life, your whole life now, you're working, you're preparing yourself to become a leader of some household. Some people you don't know. Maybe you know your wife, fine. Few years later, there are some strangers running around your house. Now you have to take care of those ones too. You have to go out, come back. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because the more they grow, the more they take, the more they eat, the more, your household grows, your financial burden grows, so you have to work.
Yeah.
And then coming home, somebody will tell you that you don't spend enough time with the family.
That's true.
Well,
Do you understand?
We're
So
all guilty
there's
of
there's
that
there's
somewhere or the other.
there's quite a lot at play. I don't like to say, oh, women are wrong, men are wrong. I like the honest part of the conversation.
yeah.
Meet me when I'm not at my 100%. Today I'm only at 10. Can you handle
Can you handle
this,
the
this, that? Tomorrow I'm up, and people have their days. Women have more days than men. Do you understand? And as a man, you have to just deal with it.
Yeah, you have to man up.
You just have to man up. You cannot, men are not, I say it any day, anytime, whoever wants to argue it, I'm not
Argue
going
with
to argue,
yourself.
I'm just going to tell you. Men should not be as vulnerable as society is trying to force men to be. Men should not key into their feelings. You do not want that. You already see the issues it's causing. A man being one with his feelings without control.
That's where
It's a
you.
problem.
That's where you.
That's
choose
control.
control. That's better.
Now,
Because
a
already
man who knows what his rage is, what his sadness, anger is, should deal with it amongst other men. I say this because I love women. My mom is I talk to my mom about everything. There was a day she looked at me and she said, you can't complain about everything. I know where you are now. I've seen your father there before. But what he did not do was express all of this to me. And seeing you express it over and over and over and over and over, and you feel good about it, but it's not making you do what you're supposed to do. You can't put a timestamp on when bad times come. For some people, it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But when your husband comes, okay, come talk to me, or your man comes, oh, talk to me, what happened today, or he now has to recount all the countless no's, all the things he failed at today to you. Whether you like it or not, subconsciously you're taking it.
You'll be like, I beg this man.
Yeah. After a while, before you exactly, you start to take it in. And by nature, women will always gravitate towards security. Even when we were cavemen, it was always that the bigger men will always come and take the females from a weaker man. And that's it. If we ask you today now, describe the perfect man today, it's not under 35. He has a job, he has a car, he's mature, his emotional capacity is so high that he can accommodate your own.
True.
I've asked these questions back to back, and it's the same thing. So we have to just be honest about this conversation. If you're not going to be with a man who has not reached that level, help him grow to that point, then it's fine. Yeah. But don't have a problem when a man also has certain preferences.
To round up, right, dating, another thing that comes up a lot with dating is consent. So if you can just say, like, in a very short bite, like something on consent to your fellow men and then to your fellow women.
What do you mean consent? You mean like sexually?
Yeah, consent, everything.
In every aspect, right? Yeah. I feel like consent is consent.
I feel like with women, consent is funny now. Yeah.
Why? Why do you say it's funny?
Because there's like, men will say that women do things that, like, for example, stop, I don't want, don't, but they really mean go ahead.
Yeah.
When they exactly. So for women, we have to be more, I feel, more direct with what we're saying.
Exactly. You said it. More direct, more honest. Let's yes be yes, let's no be no.
Clarity.
Be very clear. And again, for me, I feel like no man should even, once a woman is drunk, whatever she says, don't even take it. Exactly. Like, whatever she says in that moment, when she's drunk, when she's not 100% herself, don't even take anything. Let her be herself. Let her even say, like, right now there's so many rape allegations, so many. The men are not guilty of this. One girl just came out and confessed. I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
Yes.
The girl confessed. Yes.
I was like, if I still doing fashion.
The guy arrested her today.
As they should.
Oh, that's
He arrested her
that's
today
good.
because her apology was not sincere.
Yeah.
And she is.
I thought it was only me.
She was even a joke.
Pulling her hair.
She was, and she accused him of rape twice. And this guy did nothing. So
imagine if he was suicidal, he would have just killed himself.
Exactly. Thank God that
we lost someone like that not too long ago.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So I have a theory. If you have even a tiny drop of alcohol, I can't
do anything.
Yeah, I prefer everything sober. So the crazy part is we're sitting, me and my brother were sitting at KJ Grill. She's sitting behind us. And I hear loudly, if a man sleeps with you, even when there's a tiny drop of alcohol in your mouth, that's rape.
What? You used the word against you?
I turn.
So imagine if...
So I turn. And I'm sitting down. My brother is like, what's going on? What's happening? And I tell him. He's like, no way. And I tap her. She's like, oh, hi, Elle, how are you?
Can you imagine?
She knew you were there.
How are you?
She was there.
I was like, how are you? You good? She was like, yeah. So later I confront her. Because I was upset. I'm like, so you knew. Why didn't you? She was like, oh, no, she didn't. She just repeated what I said.
Wow.
And it made sense. Because truly, the alcohol helped her let loose, but she was not
100% herself.
Exactly. So this is just my own principle. I would have gone against it. Too. Yeah, I would have gone against it easily and it would have caused me trouble.
Definitely.
So I think every man should have that restraint. This whole let's get drunk, and I mean, it helps some people with the mood, but it's very complex. But
This
consent,
2023.
please.
Please,
If
very
you can even have
important.
it in writing, it would be nice, or
On
sign,
your, on your wall, just
sign,
because
or
it's
just
easy.
make short videos like, yo,
We're about to start.
yeah, whatever works. Everything works these
Yeah.
days,
To
but
be
just
very
make
honest.
sure it's very clear,
Yeah.
Nice,
Alrighty.
nice. It was awesome
Yeah,
talking to you both. I
Thank
love
you.
the
Thank
honesty.
you.
It was a breath of fresh air.
it was really.
Thank
Yeah,
you. This was
so-
really nice. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
For coming
Thanks.
on
So-
our set.
Thank you.
Yeah, so remember, we're not here to tell you what to do, how to live, or who to be. We're just here to talk so you could listen. Yeah. Take
See you
care.
in the next episode.
See you next
All right then,
episode.
bye.
Bye.